Welcome back to the channel. This is our Over the Edge 1999 and Owen Hart tribute episode. Hey, it's Scott Barratt and welcome back to the Burning Truth. And I'm joined once again by a man who gets more bookings than Carlito and R-Truth combined. It's Matt Burns, everybody.
Not my fault. Not my fault.
No, I think it's Triple H's fault, Matt Burns, is what all the news is telling us.
Yeah.
Sad this week about R-Truth. Not so much Carlito. Couldn't care less, tell you the truth. But R-Truth hit me hard. And I think the entire wrestling community, by the looks of it.
No kidding. Absolutely. The fact is, we're not going to be able to see R-Truth. Well, to be honest, I'm more disappointed and we're not going to see Ron Cena again.
Yeah, but we got it. And that was the main
thing.
We got Ron Cena.
You know he had that in the back pocket all along.
Yeah, and it was a nice send-off for him, actually, in the end, wasn't it? Let's be fair.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I think so. Anyway, that's where I am. But that's not why we're here tonight, Matt Burns. What are we here for?
We are here for Over the Edge 1999, and it is also a tribute to Owen Hart as well.
Yeah, the late, great Owen Hart, who sadly passed away following this event or at this event.
It was during the event, and it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, really traumatic and terrible circumstance that it happened. But the event's gone on Netflix, and we are going through 1999 PLEs this year, pay-per-views on the podcast. And Over the Edge was the next one, and we had a big debate about whether we were going to watch along this one or not. And we decided to in the end. It seems like Netflix and WWE have removed any Owen Hart related content from it. So we're just going to get the rest of the show. But we thought we would try and give tribute to Owen Hart during this episode, talk a little bit about his history, the man himself. And I've got some funny stories that I've heard on podcasts, etc., from people who knew the man himself. So I think, Owen Hart was no stranger to a rib. And who knows, I might even play a rib on Matt Burns tonight. But how does the watch-along thing work, Matt?
Well, here is how it works. You get your WWE Over the Edge 1999 ready on Peacock, Netflix, DVD, wherever you want to watch. You queue it up to the very start of the event. And then when we count down, 3, 2, 1... play, you hit play at the same time as us. From there, we'll guide you through every match with live reactions, insights, and some classic wrestling trivia.
Okay, cool. So we're just going to give you a second, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this back, it's going to give you a second to load it up on your other screen, on your second screen. We are offering a second screen experience here. So if you're on your laptop and you're looking at us, this is a time to pause us, get us on your phone, and then get Over the Edge 1999 on your laptop or on your television. And we will second screen and provide alternate commentary and some fun for you. Have you got yours loaded up, Matt Burns?
Yeah, mine's already loaded up.
Mine's loaded up for me. So I think it's probably best that we say 3, 2, 1, play.
Play.
And here we go.
Even though we don't have the match of it happening, just seeing the tribute does give emotionals.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for me, I was 1999. I'd have been 10 years old when this was on. So I wouldn't have watched it live. I probably would have watched it the next day. And he did accidentally pass away during the broadcast, fell from the rafters after a malfunction in his equipment that he was using to rappel down from the ceiling. dressed as the Blue Blazer character.
The odd thing about it is this had a massive internal effect on the upper management, especially Vince, who suddenly, not long after this, developed the toolage of if he's going to test out.
Yeah. Which I think he'd done previously. I remember seeing a video of him in the Shawn Michaels harness from WrestleMania 12, 13. But it was certainly coming back to that now.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're getting this video of The Undertaker, Stone Cold. Because the main event for this show, Matt Burns, Stone Cold versus The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. And with a couple of special guest referees, if I'm not too much mistaken.
Yeah, you are correct. And it was just this, because of the aftermath and what had happened, this brought the end of the actual pay-per-view line of Over the Edge.
Yeah, there wasn't any more after this, and probably rightly so. If you can call it something else, call it something else. There's too many connotations to this at this point.
Yeah.
Once it happens, it happens. But it was a good pay-per-view name. Here we go with the pyro. And on the call, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, just as it should be in 1999.
That, I will say, was a weird sign, wasn't it? Hi, Kerry.
Yeah.
When I deep down, you're probably still thinking, who the hell, as a kid, don't bash an eyelid. As an adult, who's Kerry?
Yeah. And I suppose for the first, Midian taking out Vince McMahon there at the ankle.
Ooh.
And here comes X-Pac. Now, the question is he still tagging with Kane at this point?
Yes.
I don't know what the card is for this. And this is like...
He is tagging with him.
So it's X-Pac, Kane, and Tori at this point. And that is that one of the tag titles? They're the tag champions. They must be.
Yep. Because this match is for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Because it's X-Pac and Kane versus D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry.
Oh, good tag team. And I don't know why we messed about with D'Lo Brown earlier in the year, tagging him with like Test and people like that. Like D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry should have just been the tag team.
Sometimes you've just got to find the right individual.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure Tori's joined the two at this point.
No.
It's still just Kane and X-Pac, but still a fabulous team. And they weren't together that long, but it's something we still talk about today, which shows the impact that they had.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because this was a good case of a speedy individual with a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Combination.
Yeah.
Because you got the one who's got all the certain strikes and got all the flexibility and maneuverability, where you got the other one that's like who's just gonna as soon as you grip somebody, that's it, game over.
Yeah, 100%. And if you are listening on the podcast or listening back to this, we are currently watching along Over the Edge 1999, and the clock says we're in 5 minutes and 22, 23, 24 seconds. If you want to sync up with us and watch at the same time as us, we are your alternate commentary, like Fan Zone back in the day on Sky Sports. Remember Fan
Love
Zone?
it.
Here comes D'Lo. If you've never done the D'Lo head bob, you're not a person who was watching wrestling in 1999. Sexual Chocolate and D'Lo Brown. They weren't even referring to him as Mark Henry, just Sexual Chocolate. Hey!
It was, wasn't it? They just call him Sexual Chocolate. Do you know what I find interesting with Mark Henry?
What?
Is the fact that he took a bit of a gamble on himself.
Yeah.
In the sense of when he was labeled the world's strongest man, when they did that competition, in implying that Mark Henry was no longer the world's strongest man. And he just goes, "Nah, man, I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that." Says the Vince, "I'm going to enter that competition." He's like, "You don't need to. You don't need to. But if you do it, there is no place for the second strongest man."
It's true that he's funny, into Mark Henry, because how they rated the world's strongest man has changed over time. But at the time he was the strongest man, it was that he'd lifted a combined weight heavier than anybody else. So it wasn't on one lift; it was on like a combined weight lift,
Yeah.
so over a few different lifts. But yeah, fair play to him. You want to hear my first? As we said, this was an Owen Hart tribute, and I want to keep it light where we can. Tragic circumstances, but I do want to keep it light. Do you want to hear my first? I've got some Owen Hart funny stories if you're interested.
Oh, I'm definitely interested. Come on.
Okay, so I've taken these from different podcasts and interviews that people have done over time talking about Owen. And the first one is what they call the passport rib with Edge and Christian. And on a tour in Europe, Owen managed to swipe Edge's passport, right, without him noticing. And right before it was time to go through customs, Owen handed it back casually and said, "You might need this." Edge was absolutely panicked, and Owen was just chuckling to himself. So he'd held on to it for days, completely calm, never breaking character, and just waiting for the perfect moment to give it back. And Edge was just like hoping that he was going to be able to get through the airport without his passport, because he was on TV or whatever. And Edge said about Owen, he said he just smiled like a cat that ate the canary. He was just like so happy with himself.
You gotta love it. You've got to love it. The fact is, the man knows.
Big right hands from D'Lo Brown on Xbox. If you're watching along with us, currently watching Over the Edge 99, we're at the 9 minute and 5, 6, 7 second mark. If you want to sync up with us, get your comments in the chat. Feel free to join in. We're talking all things wrestling tonight, including what we're watching. But there's absolutely loads going on tonight, including Matt Burns, the debut tonight on Raw, or re-debut because she's already been on once, but the debut as a full-time Raw superstar for Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, I did notice that, which might explain why there was some sudden changes recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I was shocked last week when she lost the NXT title, and I thought, there must be something going on here. I thought maybe she was injured, but going up to the main roster, I mean, super happy for her.
They say it's going up to the main roster. Is it really?
Going to Raw, the number one wrestling show in the world? I would say so, Matt Burns. I would call that a promotion.
Because I still think NXT is its own brand.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it is still developmental. And I know we say it isn't, but we wouldn't take the wrestlers from there and put them on the Raw and SmackDown if it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It's still the third.
I get you.
Here comes Kane. Kane and Mark Henry. We just lost Matt Burns. Don't worry about it, though. He wasn't doing much anyway. He'll be back in a minute. I'll talk about another one, actually. I've got another funny Owen Hart story while we're watching Mark Henry give it to Kane in the corner and whip him in. Big buckle and a press slam from Mark Henry on Kane. You do not see that every day. Huge press slam. So Mark Henry had an Owen rib story, and it was that Owen would consistently phone hotel staff or catering pretending to be another wrestler. So often like a foreign star or somebody who would be a bit more serious, like maybe Ahmed Johnson, and he would complain in a ridiculous accent about the food being cold or not having enough seasoning. And then he'd sit back and watch the real Ahmed get really confused and angry when the staff tried to fix something he never even requested, which I always thought was like really funny. So Mark Henry now being a bit of a chicken. Oh, just had a text from Matt Burns. His internet's crashed. He'll be back in a sec. I'll keep the train on the tracks, mate. Never you worry. Oh, and as soon as he texts me, he's back on. There he is. We're currently at 12 minutes, 46, 47, 48 seconds on Over the Edge, Matt Burns. You missed Kane getting a huge press slam from Mark Henry.
Oh.
And now a big boot to D'Lo. And I was just telling the Mark Henry Owen Hart story, which was, I don't know if you've heard it before, but it's around catering. And so in hotels, etc., Owen Hart would ring catering or the hotel staff, and he would make a complaint in another wrestler's name, normally Ahmed Johnson. And then the next day, when the staff were trying to make it right for Ahmed Johnson, and he'd have absolutely no idea what they were talking about, but it's because Owen had complained in a ridiculous accent.
He has a way of getting people into trouble.
X-Pac smashing him here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my thumb to the eye stops him. Also, this is my ultimate favorite X-Pac gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know what? This match has gone on a bit longer than I would have thought, Matt Burns.
Yeah, it
What's
does.
after this one? What is our next match after this one?
After this one, we have Al Snow versus Hardcore Holly.
Oh my god, how many times we watched this match this year?
I think this will be the third.
This will be the third and a triple threat match as well that they were both in. So it might be the fourth time we've seen them wrestle.
Wow, yeah, I just realised, yeah.
We've watched 4 pay-per-views and we've seen them wrestle at all 4 of them.
Do you know, Ailey, when you mentioned your stories?
Yeah.
Of Owen Hart with Edge and Christian?
Yeah.
There's actually another story.
Okay, good.
It involves, it was during a time when it was meant to be Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett facing off against Christian and Edge.
Yeah. Oh, don't say it like that.
Edge and Christian.
Thank you.
There you go. I was like, no, that didn't feel right. That's almost like saying Deck and Hands.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, it just doesn't work. And the thing is, with Edge being the young pup, he wanted to show respect himself for the veteran. So during the match, when Edge found himself being brutalized with a foreign object, dropped to the mat in a heap, selling for the veteran despite not knowing what he was being hit by, absolutely overselling. And Owen kept hiding the object underneath his armpit whenever Edge turned to see what it was. Later in the match, the ref had Owen reveal what the deadly object was. A napkin. The
Those-
evil dastardly Owen nearly took
Mind
Edge's
you,
head
I
off.
mean, I don't know what you've used as weapons, but I've used the toilet roll as a weapon before now, Matt Burns.
Do you know why I relate to this so much? I actually relate to that story so much.
Yeah, I've seen you sell a paper plate before now.
Oh no, I got caught. I got caught off guard on a carnival show against Mike Weaver. I'm doing the run around. He's chasing after me, and I feel these hits in the back of my head. I'm sat like I've been hit by a shotgun and everything. Dove into the ring, and all of a sudden turn around, see an inflatable hammer.
Love it.
Cry, not laugh.
Absolutely love it. And this is probably a good time to talk, Matt Burns, about our big weekend. So we just had a huge 2 nights of wrestling for United Wrestling. We had May Madness weekend, Friday night in Abbey-Alton-Stoke-on-Trent for May Madness Friday. Some massive matches on that card. I know we both wrestled there. Full house in the Abbey-Alton Sports and Social Club, which is great. Find all the details there on stokeontrentwrestling.co.uk.
Get your tickets.
Also, then May Madness Saturday, the same promotion, United Wrestling, with one of their huge summer shows at Arias Park, Colwyn Bay, for May Madness Saturday. And again, some fabulous matches on that card. I know you worked the show. I was on the announcing. And, D'Lo Brown with a phenomenal move there. I don't even know what you call that. But some great wrestling again in Colwyn Bay on Saturday, and well over 200 people in the venue on Saturday night, which is fabulous.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's also the crowning of a new championship.
United Wrestling's first ever Welsh champion, being crowned in James Irvine. So we're really, really good stuff. James Irvine, former co-host of yours on the show.
Yeah,
so we're big love to James Irvine.
Yep, and I will say this: it was a hot day.
Oh, it was so warm. I was announcing once. I was sweating. I wish I'd put shorts on. I don't know how professional that would have looked, but I wish I had shorts on because it was awful. Awful.
I think it would have been fine. Although I thought the backward hat made you look a little bit fly.
Yeah, I only had that on for the first half, but it was good. Pretty fly for a white guy. And then Saturday, Sunday, Matt Burns, you were at the wrestling again. What happened on Sunday?
I was at one of the 3 carnival shows for Aspire Wrestling.
Yeah,
and I say that 3 through. Honestly, I will say, absolute spectacle that was. It was it's a carnival called The Big One. I'm trying to remember the actual proper location for it for you, because the actual location, I'm just going to get it up now for you. But I will say, highly recommend as
D'Lo covers Kane outside after a side kick, and Kane kicks out. And now, Matt Burns, just before he goes to the detail, D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, and X-Pac on the outside, and it looks like Kane is going to fly. Huge dive. And D'Lo Brown caught him really well there, not like a certain TNA superstar.
No idea what you're on about.
Anyway, carry on. So where was the big one?
I'm literally just getting the details up now. It's just, unfortunately, the internet for me today is deciding to be a little bit slow.
You were there, weren't you? Where were you? Nottingham, Derby?
Derby
for Aspire
Derby.
Wrestling on Sunday for a carnival show that they put on. So that's really good. Loads of wrestling over the weekend, Matt Burns.
There was literally for the Aspire Wrestling, they had 3 events on the same day.
Fantastic.
And we were at the big one, and I will say, what a absolute spectacle it was. It was really nice. I turned up, helped get the wrestling ring up and everything, and watched, and actually sat down, watched everything. The weird thing about it was, it wasn't just like a great show. You also run like the mini classes.
Oh, nice.
So it was a good experience for everybody. and the actual proper location for it was Chaddiston Park.
Yeah, I know Chaddiston, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it was. And
known as Chad to the locals.
Yeah. That's what you did there.
And Kane gets the pin there on Mark Henry following a chokeslam. So still the tag team champions. That match was loads longer than I expected it to be. I thought that was just going to be some sort of TV match, but I mean, we're 21 minutes into the pay-per-view here, so they got a full 15 minutes on pay-per-view. That's madness.
Do you know how close you were?
Pretty close, I reckon.
15 seconds off.
Oof. Not bad. Not bad.
15 seconds off you were there.
Massive chokeslam on the mark at Henry.
The classic look of Kane.
Yeah. That's his second best look. His first best look being the butchers.
Yeah.
That he was like the
wow.
I know, Michael Cole. The version of Kane where he eliminated all the guys in the Royal Rumble, like that version of Kane. Yeah, that's my favorite Kane. Hardcore Holly. Kevin Kelly. Little Joe.
Little Joe. Why did that just feel a little bit hot, just giving me a bit of a nostalgia? Because Little Joe, Little Jimmy.
Pierre and Head. They're not real. Head isn't real.
No comments.
That reminds me, actually, mate. I saw something on Facebook this week. They're looking for adult virgins for a TV show. I just thought I'd mention it.
Walking up the wrong tree there.
I thought you were just going to tell me fuck off.
I think you like the fact that I just kept quite chill.
Just kept it cool then, yeah. As we go into Hog Holly versus Al Snow for the hardcore title, it is on the watch along with 24 minutes and 1, 2, 3 seconds in. So if you want to sync up with us, we're watching live.
I am just going to say this right now. But for our streams, this has been the feud.
No, answer though.
It has. It's almost like every time we've been watching a stream lately, this match has been around. Especially
every for the we've watched, there's been a version of this match.
Yeah. And you can definitely tell it's 1999 with the classic advertisements of 1-800-COLLECT.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, but I mean, they made the money back on them, and they just think, they're still getting the. They're still getting. I've lost the stream here. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. And right now we've got Al Snow arriving. He's got Ed. Is that a box?
Right, we got Ed. Good stuff. That's Pierre in the box, is it?
Is it Pierre?
I mean, I have no idea, really. Oh, yeah, Pierre. This is where Head jumps the shark when he starts taking out Pierre.
Wow. Oof.
I know. Nearly ended really badly, didn't it?
Yank.
Right, I think it's time, Matt Burns. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Right, Matt Burns, I'm asking you once and for all, what are your top 3 hardcore Holly matches?
What?
Top 3 hardcore Holly matches? You must have 3. Would it be easier if I said, what are your top 3 hardcore Holly and Al Snow matches from 1999?
No.
Are you going to answer? You're never going to answer.
I'm going to answer. I am going to answer. I am going to go for the number 1. I'm going to save. You have to wait. Number 3. I am going to go with an Al Snow one. Simply because it's just forefront of my head.
Is it the one with Pierre or the one in the river?
The river.
That would have been St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Oh,
definitely.
Bacon tray.
I'm going to go for number 2, which is Hardcore Holly versus Brock Lesnar.
Which one? The bad one or the rematch?
The rematch.
Not the bad one.
No, we don't talk about that one. But it was a good way to still bring him in. And
yeah, I thought so. It was a good way to give him a main event match as well, to make him mean something.
Yeah, and that's why I thought number 2. I know what you're thinking. What's number 1 if that's number 2?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 2000, the infamous hardcore, the hardcore scramble match. You know exactly why. Supposedly he's meant to have.
Oh, hold on, Hawk, while he's having performance issues here with the fire extinguisher.
Just forgot to pull the pin. Ooh!
Oh, there we go. I'll Snow using the fire extinguisher on Hardcore Holly.
There we go.
Right, I think it's time for another Owen Hart story. Matt Burns, ready for this one?
Go on.
So this one comes from, I think it's been told by Bruce Pritchard and Jim Ross. During a house show loop, Owen would sometimes impersonate Scott Hall and Razor Ramon, complete with the accent. And he'd go out in front of the fans, especially when Scott Hall wasn't on the show. And at one event, fans actually thought that Razor had turned up. Vince found out and apparently absolutely lost his head, laughed his head off, loved it, but told him not to do it again. Of course, Owen being Owen, guess what he did the next week? The Razor Ramon. This time adding his own twist, which was a full sombrero and fake mustache.
Gotta love it.
Oh, and here they go. Mark Hawley and Al Snow fighting in the concessions.
Are you ready for the? I might have another Owen Hart story for you.
You got one too? I've got a few more, but I didn't want to.
Have you heard about the one that he did on his dad?
Go on.
Well, his son decided to come pay a visit to his sons, and they're in the hotel room.
Okay.
So, because there's only 2 per hotel room or motel.
Yeah.
Right. Stu ended up with Brett. So Owen decided to pull the prank. He called the room, didn't he? And thought it'd be best to be doing the voice of Reggie Parks.
Right.
Who's also one of the, he's really beloved. The designer of some of the classic belts and a friend of Stu's. The phone call's going thinking he's having a good chat with his old friend. And as it's going on, he's getting more ticked off. Now, from Brett's account, the other voice on the phone was challenging Stu, saying something like on the lines of, "You never had the balls to try me, Stu." He kept pushing his buttons. Finally, he snapped, "Reg, if you wanted to try me, why didn't you try me?" After a brief moment of silence, Stu put the phone down, sat down, and said, "That little bastard got me."
Love it.
That's when you know it's got to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. As Al Snow and Hardcore Holly still fighting backstage. I feel like from now on, if there's ever a 1999 watch along where it isn't Al Snow versus Hardcore Holly, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
What have I got? Have I got any more? Here's a good one. So here's one that he did on Vince McMahon.
Okay.
Right? So Bruce has told this story. I think Edge has told this story. Jim Ross, a few others have told this story. But Owen Hart once created fake promotional flyers with Vince McMahon's face on them, advertising that Vince would be making appearances at a local strip club in Canada. He planted them in Vince's luggage. And then when they hit the Canadian border, Vince was pulled aside and questioned by the authorities, completely confused as to why this was happening. Owen sat back laughing, watching the whole thing unfold. Only Owen.
How did he get away with it? How did he get away with it?
Stamped on his nads there, I think. No disqualifications in a hardcore match.
You mentioned Vince McMahon, didn't you?
Yeah.
I've got another story from there. When it came to his pranks, he wasn't afraid of it getting anybody, was he? Like we said.
No.
Vince, back during a In Your House with Hunter Hearst Helmsley facing Henry Godwin, and Vince's great 1995 idea of a hog pen match.
Right.
Owen ensured Vince would pay for booking such a match. When the truck arrived in the arena, filled with barn animals, the driver asked where the animals had to go. Without blinking an eye, Owen showed the guy where he had to go. Straight into Vince's office.
That's good shit.
You can imagine you go to his office. It smells like a barn. You need a major clean-up. And can you imagine if anyone tried to pull something like that on upper management in WWE right now? It ain't
it wouldn't be. Your life wouldn't be worth living. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. If you're listening along on the podcast, we're currently 34 minutes and 34, 35, 36 seconds in to 1999's Over the Edge as Hardcore Holly gets a 2 count against Al Snow and gets right in Mike Chioda's face.
Close, though.
Yeah, Al Snow's now set a table up in the corner. We've still got the fire extinguisher in the ring, chairs, baking trays, a few other bits and bobs. Pierre seems to have disappeared.
No, he's there.
Oh, he's there, yeah.
He's at the edge.
Yeah.
Oh, snowplow.
Snowplow. Who does that now? Somebody does that right now as a finish. Or as a near full. Somebody does it right now as a finish. Can't think who.
I know Moshe Slamovich uses a variation of it.
Who does?
Moshe Slamovich.
No, I don't watch that.
From TNA. But good move, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like, while we're talking about wrestling, though, Matt Burns, while we're talking about women not in WWE, Let's talk about a woman who may soon be in WWE. Sounds like Mariah May is on her way up north.
Definitely deserving. Definitely deserving. And the weird thing about it is, for me, before she went over to AEW, literally a few months before she went over, she was actually doing a few shows in the UK.
Right.
And she did a show in Nantwich. I know she was there because I was there. I just, got offered by a friend. Shall we just nip up to a local wrestling show? From a friend of mine. He was like, "Yeah, I'll meet you there." Turned up. It was like, like a big massive load of matches, and she was on, and you could tell that she was a great worker and everything, and it's just dead interesting.
Yeah, it's good when that happens. I've worked on a few shows with people who've gone on to do WWE or
AEW.
TNA or AEW, etc. In fact, I saw a post the other day with Tony Storm at Pro Wrestling for You. Now, I didn't work that show. I have worked Pro Wrestling for You before, but I didn't work that show. But just amazing to think that these people do come through your local wrestling shows. So we always say it, but support your local wrestling. If you can get out there, tickets will be minuscule price compared to going and watching WWE or AEW. So if there is local wrestling in your area, seek it out, have a look on Facebook, and make sure you go and support them, because those guys putting on amazing shows. And a lot of the time, you're going to see the future wrestling, the wrestling of tomorrow.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, because for me, you saw Tony Storm at Pro Wrestling for You. I saw it at SWA at one of their major shows, and it was just phenomenal seeing their stardom rise.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's like there's one name that I know we've both been involved with on the same show. Gabe Kidd.
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd. Genuinely, hang on.
Oh, and Holly goes through the table. Oh,
fair.
And that's a cover that I would never want to have on me by Al Snow.
No, thank you. And I'll be honest with you, fair play for Hardcore Holly going through that table, especially as one of the legs was broken.
Yeah.
And he managed getting propped up. And possibly got ahead as well.
Snow retains the hardcore title. What does everybody love? Now. As we hit the 39-minute mark on this watch along of Over the Edge 1999.
Yeah. More on the Vince McMahon situation. He's no longer there.
And somebody we both worked on same show as previously, Matt Burns. Zach Gibson, another one.
Gibson.
Gabe Kidd. Kaylee Ray as well, actually, now known as Alba Fire.
Yes.
Oh, Pat Patterson and Joel Briscoe. Can you do a Pat Patterson impression? Okay, Mr. McMahon, whatever you say, Mr. McMahon. Yes. Here they come. Now, I suppose it's worth noting at this point that the tragedy has happened in between these two segments.
Yeah.
So the show might feel different at this point.
And you might,
Owen Hart had his terrible fall. They've wheeled him off on a stretcher. Everybody is obviously, really worried about him. So performances might not be what we would want them to be. Deborah, women's champion at this point. The worst bit for me, Matt Burns, on this, I'm not sure how you'll feel about it, but the blood on the apron is Owen's blood. And that's quite hard to stomach. You know, I was 10 years old at this point, and maybe I shouldn't have been watching characters like Val Venus anyway. But I always remember that jarring me a little bit, and I was a big Stone Cold fan as a kid.
Yeah.
But I just remember the whole thing jarring me a little bit, and I was really upset because Owen Hart was by no means my favorite wrestler. I'm not gonna pretend retrospectively that he was. I'd only been watching wrestling total half a year at this point. I was just, Stone Cold was my guy. Do you know what I mean? But I appreciated Owen Hart, and I cared about them all the wrestlers. You know. So for something like that to have happened, and it felt very real when we were cutting to the commentators and Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were talking about it, etc. You know, it was,
yeah.
And now Val Venus has got to cut a promo like this.
Yeah.
Oof. Now, in hindsight, would they have carried on the show or not? I mean, you don't know what you don't know. But people had paid for a ticket. People had paid to be there. And we'd advertised Stone Cold versus The Undertaker. I can see why they did.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember. The background sounds familiar. The music by Nicole Bass.
Yeah. My timing must be off here because Nicole Bass has only literally just
entered.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm well behind here. I wonder what's happened there. Okay, that's better. So I've got Deborah getting in the ring now, yeah?
Just getting in.
Yeah.
There we go. Just climbed in?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm caught up now.
Yeah.
Well, and Jeff getting Deborah out of the ring. I mean, she's not a trained wrestler. She is the women's champion. How did she win the women's championship? Do we know?
I believe
because Sable would have been the women's champion and then lost it to Tori, maybe. No, she didn't lose it to Tori, did she? Because Nicole Bass made sure she didn't.
I know she won it. Shawn Michaels was commissioner. They did a bra and panties match, and he goes, "My mistake. The winner of the match is the one who strips down to their bra and panties first."
Ah. Val Venus is underrated, you know.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I've never seen a bad Jeff Jarrett match either. But Val Venus, really good worker. Looked $1 million at this point as well.
The weird thing about it is, when I was younger, I used to absolutely, dislike Val Venus. I did. I don't know why. I just had a natural thing to not.
I felt sorry for him because he'd lost his member to Kai and Tai.
The irony of it.
Your PP.
No, earlier with what we just discussed. Just got a full view of the site of it. It's just
the blood. Yeah, it's not good.
Now, to be honest, the irony of it is that feud that you just mentioned. That's what turned it a little bit around, just a touch.
Yeah. And referee for this, Matt Burns, you should be able to name because it's a tag match player.
Come on, it's his favorite match. Tag team match player.
Big power slam there by Val Venus.
Of Mr. Ted Diddlong.
The only thing that could make it better would be Rodney Mack or The Undertaker.
Oh, mate.
He loved Rodney Mack, didn't he?
Rodney Mack.
It's a Jeff. Nicole Bass and Deborah, here we go. I mean, she didn't even wear it. Look at them heels. She's wrestling in those heels. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, that's a broken ankle waiting to happen, isn't it?
You're just waiting for that slip. That.
Oh, good slap. Oh, dear. Tag yourself in, Jeff. If you're listening along, we're at 47 minutes, 23, 24, 25 seconds. And I know I just said, obviously, the tragedy has happened prior to this match. But even so, Deborah and Nicole Bass had absolutely no right to be in a WWE ring.
Please tell me you did not hear that fan then.
What?
Did you not hear that fan?
No, I've got my sound quite far down.
Just be glad you did. Just be glad you did. That would not be happening in today's wrestling. All here was, yeah, baby, do it again.
Right, Matt Burns, I'm just going to leave you to it for a couple of seconds, dude.
Yeah, we've got it covered. And, here comes a bit of a nice Russian, leg sweep. Here comes Val Venus marking him up. He's getting the pose down. Taunting Jeff Jarrett blatantly with some violent punches. Going up to the second rope. Ooh, missed that leaping elbow drop. Jeff Jarrett showing wise of action. Oh, good form shot. Oh, good fight back. Good catch. Oh! Is that an early version of the stroke? Oh. That, I've got to say, is a really good way of doing the sleight of hand, slight distraction, getting some puppies on show. And it was weird because when Deborah hit Nicole Bass with that guitar, normally the guitar just breaks apart. Either it wasn't swung right, or that wasn't meant to be used as a prop. Someone gave the wrong guitar. Whoops! But it was interesting to see the whole switch and change. And Val Venus getting snogged by Nicole Bass. Ooh. But as you notice, Nicole Bass might have a bit of blood. Well, here we are, back to Vincent McMahon being stretched out. Ooh, rubbing salt in the wound, Shane. Rubbing salt in the wound. Medical center.
Right, what have I missed? What have I missed while stuff's been going on at the local medical center? Medical facility.
You missed the worst guitar shot by Deborah.
Oh wow! On to Nicole Bass.
Oh yeah, the fact that you didn't even see the guitar go up in smoke or obliterate. You heard the thunk. It was like it was either she swung that guitar wrong, or someone handed the wrong prop.
And now we're getting Outlaw versus Outlaw. What happened with Vince McMahon?
Vince was attacked, if you remember earlier, by Midian. He was just getting carried off to the ambulance or, to the local medical facility. And you got Shane McMahon rubbing salt in the wound, sitting there saying he's going to count the 1, 2, 3 for Undertaker to be the new world champion.
Because we're literally one week away from the higher power, right?
Yes.
So writing Vince out is sort of part of the whole plan.
Yes.
In inverted commas plan.
Even though it's sort of
This is where Billy wants to be a star on his own, isn't it?
Yeah, it's where he becomes less of a Billy Gunn and more Mr. Ass.
Yeah. And he had all the tools, man.
Yeah.
One promo derailed him. And we'll see that because eventually we'll get to SummerSlam. We're going to keep these watch alongs going all year, right, Matt Burns?
Oh, yeah.
Every now and again, we'll pop up with a 1999 watch along.
Yeah, definitely.
You're nothing but a puss.
That, I will say, was a nice touch.
Very good.
That was a nice little touch of how to get into. Well, I didn't know. Oh, you didn't know?
It's nitty-gritty time.
Always knows how to make a good entrance.
Fantastic. Road Dogg, man, he was another level, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Doggy style.
Rough.
What else is going on in the world of wrestling this week, Matt Burns?
Oh, straight away. Oh, just look at this. Have you heard about Nick Nemeth's comments? in regards to the what happened over on NXT pay-per-view recently?
Regarding Trick Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's working.
Oh, yeah, definitely. To work.
Tell us about it, though.
No, definitely work. But I thought it was absolute genius how they did
Tell us
it.
what happened for anybody listening that doesn't know.
No, I'm just going through it now. Literally. Just going through it because we got Trick Williams beating Joe Hendry. Beating Joe Hendry on a NXT pay-per-view. So a WWE superstar, signed WWE superstar, is currently the TNA World Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Nemeth had a few words to say. Yeah, he says he's got no issues with Trick Williams and everything, but it pisses him off that Joe Hendry let him down.
Yeah, good bit of work, that. I don't mind that at all.
And it looks like, at first, because the way you do the interview, it's like, oh, is this genuine? And then you sit there thinking, no, it's got to be work. It's got to be work. Well, I hope it's a work.
Nick Nemeth would care either way, but
no,
definitely
either
working.
way, it's still a bit of stroke of genius.
Amazing, this tag team didn't last longer than it did, you know?
What? This one?
Yeah, so New Age Outlaws, we literally get them for probably 18 months. Then they split up and get back together eventually. Then Road Dogg breaks his arm. Billy Gunn breaks his shoulder or his elbow, his arm or something, and goes off again. They never get back together after that until the TNA run, and then eventually come back to WWE 10 years later.
Yeah.
But the peak is now. And they literally, the only unbroken time they had together was 18 months, 2 years maybe, tops.
You know what? When you sit back and you sit there and you think it's like it's one of the longest tag teams, and yet, and you look back at it, it's like, was it as long as it was?
Edge and Christian, the same, man. We literally got them from 2000 probably, Edge and Christian properly, end of 1999, 2000, until 2002, they broke up. End of 2001, beginning of 2002, they broke up. Madness.
Yeah. Here we go. The follow-up. Good whack. Sticking the boots in.
But Matt Burns, are you ready?
I am ready.
This time, I want to know your top 3 Billy Gunn tag teams.
Really? I'm trying to think of these tag teams now.
Well, there's Billy and Bart.
Oh, no. Got it.
Okay.
Number 3, Billy and Bart.
The Smoking Guns, baby.
Number 2, Billy and Chuck.
Nice.
There's no way I could not bet that one.
I thought you were going to go Billy and Chuck for number 1.
Nah. You know what my number 1 is? It's, of course, going to be Billy Gunn and China. I'm joking. It is, of course.
New Age Outlaws, iconic entity.
Yeah.
What's he doing in AEW these days? Because, I mean, he's pushing 60 now, right?
He's actually with Anthony Bowens at the moment. He's managing Anthony Bowens. who seems to be racking up some wins.
Good stuff.
No, because it almost as much as whenever you're in a tag team, you know that when it breaks up, 9 out of 10 times, most people always turn around and go, "You're the Marty Jannetty and one's the Shawn Michaels." Now, the one that you thought was going to be the Shawn Michaels has ended up being the Marty Jannetty.
Wow. I think these two are both the Marty Jannetty when they're on their own.
Who's that?
Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, I think they're both the Marty Jannetty. For me, I think these two only work well when they're together.
Yeah. Some individuals don't have a breakout, but if you had to pick though,
A winner and a loser.
yeah.
I don't think there's a winner. So Billy Gunn floundered and ended up back in a tag team with Chuck. Road Dogg ended up tagging with X-Pac and then Ron the Truth Killings. They both ended up in tag teams again. Like there was no single success really for either of them that they didn't have when they were a tag team together. The single success they had, they were still a tag team. When Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were both Intercontinental Champion, they were both in the New Age Outlaws. I think Billy won it one more time after. And when they were both Hardcore Champion, that happened when they were both in the New Age Outlaws as well.
Yeah. The most famous for being in tag teams. And that's what their specialist was. The specialist area.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but neither of them were world champion anywhere they went.
No, they weren't.
No, there you go. A point stands. They were perfect together, and it never got any better for them.
Yep. I'm not denying it. Far from it.
Vince McMahon's opened a company this week, Matt Burns, right?
Yes, because he wanted to try buy back WWE.
Now, I'm going to throw a flag on that.
Supposedly.
That's a clickbait story, that isn't it? What actually happened is the coach said that he thought Vince wanted to.
Me personally, I think he does want to, but he knows it's not going to happen. So he's going to do the next best thing and still have some sort of link.
The only way, I'm telling you now, WWE's stock, share price, and value, company valuation, will have exceeded the money Vince McMahon has by now.
Oh,
they've had an amazing 18 months. WWE signed a $5 billion Netflix deal. It's in a really good place.
Yeah.
The only way Vince buys back the WWE is A, if they were willing to sell it, which a company like Endeavor would sell if the money was right, because that's what they do. But the only way he's going to be able to afford that is if he's using somebody else's money. And the only people that are going to put up the cash for this with Vince McMahon are the Saudis. Now, the Saudis have got the money. That's the scary thing. So there is an alternate reality universe where this happens.
Not 100% sure if I could hear you.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, in an alternate universe somewhere, Vince and the Saudis buy back WWE. But let's be real, because it's plausible, it's possible, but it's also very unlikely. And I don't think in this universe that happens at all. No way.
As much as I know Vince McMahon is desperate, loves the company and everything, I think even he has limits.
Yeah, I think he wants to. Definitely. I think he could. I think the Saudis backing would make that a reality for him. I think he could quite happily get the Saudis backing. I think they wanted to purchase WWE when he sold to TKO. I wonder how WWE's partners would take it, the likes of Netflix.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think...
especially with you've got part of the lawsuit still going on as well.
And if Vince took the company private again, he could do that and not have to worry about shareholders, etc. But
It has to have some serious money there.
yeah, shareholders, sponsors, etc.
God.
While we're talking about purchases and takeovers, have you heard the other big takeover that might be happening this week?
Go on.
Hulk Hogan's Real American Brands trying to purchase Hooters. This is genius for me, Kyle. Matt Burns. Sorry, talking about your cousin. This is genius for me, Matt Burns. Right? I'll tell you for why. So, Real American beer, yeah. Real American freestyle. Where could you watch your Real American beer, drink your Real American beer, and watch your Real American freestyle?
With some free American chicken.
You could go to Real American Hooters, couldn't you?
Wow.
So that's what they do. So they normally have sporting events on in the bar in Hooters, right? So you can watch old WWE, you can watch old UFC. Why couldn't you watch Real American Freestyle?
Yeah, you can.
I'm just saying it sort of makes sense in a backwards kind of way.
I can't say anything on this right now because I definitely know one of us has actually been to Hooters.
Well, I've never been, so. But the point stands. I think that's totally plausible.
Yeah, but the weird thing about it is it's actually good food.
Oh yeah. Now listen, Hooters probably doesn't have the same pull, or doesn't have the same impact that it would have done maybe 20 years ago. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I do know that even though we like to think society's moved on, etc.
Yeah.
The culture does have things such as OnlyFans, etc.
Yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of people making a lot of money on things like OnlyFans. So we can't say that as a society we've completely moraled out of using our bodies to make money.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe Hooters still is a thing and has legs and could help Hogan and Real American Brands, and yeah. I just think maybe that's something that's going to happen.
The weird thing about it is, it's not exactly a terrible idea to do.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, okay, you can drop it and move on. If it works, good on, good business.
As we just saw Billy go on cheat to beat Road Dogg in this match. Controversial finish there.
Using tape.
The tag team is over. Official.
Game over.
Do you hear that? We think we've seen the end of DX. Oh, it isn't long in the back, but even so.
The lone referee, Shane McMahon.
I've just had a dairy milk yogurt, and it was really nice, you know.
Nice.
Other yogurts are available, and we are open to sponsors. Our 58-second mark, if you are watching along or listening along with us.
Just to repeat, just in case, because Mike dipped again. I'll just say we are 1 hour, 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds, 13, 14.
Thanks, Matt Burns. Didn't realize my audio kept dropping out. I think we're having some gremlins tonight. You've had internet issues. I'm having sound issues.
Did I playing this down too? This what we're watching.
Yeah. A difficult watch for us, right?
Yeah. Now, what I find weird with this is that this is the union, isn't it? No, not the union. The Ministry of Darkness.
The corporate ministry,
Corporate ministries. And you've got part of Vince's music in the background going, no chance. I'm like,
well, Shane's music too.
Yeah.
Corporation music, wanted. So we've got the Acolytes, Bossman, and Viscera. And I'm telling you now, if I was wrestling those four, I'd probably have the night off.
Maybe you call your union.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be getting in the ring, but here comes the Union. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Union was Mankind, Big Show, Ken Shamrock, Test. Yeah. Mankind, Test, Ken Shamrock. Where's Big Show? There he is. Big diaper baby, Big Show.
But then again, that's a good solid team there.
Yeah. There's only one legit tough guy there, though.
Who, McFoley?
Two legit tough guys there, though.
Because there's no way you know.
I mean, I'm not fighting Ken Shamrock, mate. I don't know about you.
No.
I'd fight the Big Show before I'd fight Ken Shamrock.
I wouldn't fight Big Show because I know about the arrest charge he had once.
I'd fight the Big Show before I'd fight Ken Shamrock all day.
And then Big Show showing his athleticism by leaping over the
No, just saw
that. The scary thing about it is Big Show was arrested once because somebody tried to assault him, and he just used one hand on the palm. He's like,
big dude.
So Circus a la Elimination Survivor Series match.
Is it elimination?
Elimination.
Wow. Well, I don't think Test's going to last long then.
Wow. Maybe that's why Stephanie decided to go with Triple H.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Matt Baines, just give me 2 seconds, mate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Train on the tracks for you.
I've got you covered. I've got you covered. Here comes Big Vis with the big. Ooh, just misses that big elbow drop. Test coming in. I will say, I think this is one of the rare few times you got Test with some unique gear. Oof. It looked like that could have been the elimination right there already for Test, as we are reaching the 1 hour 13, 47, 48, 49, 50. And as I say again, 1 hour, 13 minutes and 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 seconds. Big belly to belly. Ooh. Here comes Bradshaw, meaning business, straight on the elbow drop, sinking it in, stopping that tag. It's interesting because straight away it shows, another Russian side leg sweep. Clean pin.
Here we go. I'm back.
Welcome back. Just been commenting, that is some unique Test gear, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I saw it again. Well, I can't remember seeing it, but then I suppose I just remember later in his career, he wore quite a lot of black and dark reds.
Mostly black, yeah, and dark, yeah. Was that legit? For a minute, then that first punch was like, was that legit?
Throwing potatoes left, right, and centre was Bradshaw.
We can take some lessons from a certain Lethal Weapon that we know for throwing potatoes.
Loves a potato, does the old Lethal Weapon Richard Lee's. All I'm saying is, if he's going for that backward splash, get your hands up.
Oh, definitely. He loves his spuds. Ooh,
big power slam from Test.
Big power slam, yeah, definitely. But yeah, as we are watching WWE Over the Edge at 1999. This goes to show fair play there. It looked like he didn't have him, but he managed to adjust.
How many matches after this one, Matt Baines?
After this one, we'll have 2 matches. We'll have
I'm just
2
wondering whether
matches.
we call this part 1 and we reconvene on Wednesday for part 2.
For how? Oh! And I believe you called that one.
Test gone after that clothesline from Al. Ken Shamrock using those
Looking like
educated feet.
Looking like a rabid Wolverine.
Ooh. We're dealing with one tragedy here, mate. Let's not mention the rabid Wolverine.
No. I'll change it. It was like a Wolverine. That's referencing X-Men.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
What match were we watching? Was it the Undertaker and Ken Shamrock?
Yeah.
Last month. Backlash.
Yeah.
What a great match that was.
Taker made him look all awesome. And the weird thing about it is with Shamrock, he's always got a way of getting into a good submission.
Yeah.
And there goes Bradshaw.
Damn.
If you know, you know.
In comes Ron Simmons. Oh, power slam of his own.
Ooh.
Ron Simmons, the first ever African
Was
American.
that? Did he just go down then? Did I hear
What?
that then? He goes 1, 2, kick out. Damn.
I don't know.
That's what it sounded like.
You've got it on louder than me. I've got it on quite quiet.
Genuinely, that's what it sounded like. It just sounded like he just went 1, 2, kick out. Damn. Ooh. That is one man, I will say, he's always been a big dude.
Yeah.
Viscera. Here we go.
Ooh, squished him.
Even though it didn't, he attempted something, it didn't quite go right. It was a good recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That looked legit.
100%.
That looked legit. I'll say more of a carp kick, Jim. More of a running carp kick.
Well, we'll let him have that one.
Modified suplex, modified belly to belly. But it's still good. Are we going to have 2 taps? It's on the ropes. Is this? I'm. What is it with that? You know, for this past month, referees getting beaten up because we had them at UKWA. We've had them. I believe we had some over the weekend, this weekend, and we've now got it here.
Oh, Big Show. Holding Ron Simmons up like a baby.
And you got Ron that's going, "Where am I going? When am I going? When am I going?" I like that Big Show actually had his own variation of a chokeslam called the Showstopper. What do you think? What do you think, Scott?
Of
Big Show having his own version of the chokeslam. It wasn't actually called the chokeslam. It was called the Showstopper.
I mean, it wasn't called the Showstopper for very long, was it? I think Everybody realised how ridiculous that was. Matt Burns, what I want to do after this match is I want to take a short break and then join you back on another stream if that's on it, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's certainly fine.
If we're going to go the whole hog tonight.
Why not? Yeah, I think that's about right.
Well, there's about an hour left on this. Probably a bit less by the time we finish this match, and then. Oh, he's bringing Boss Man back.
Whee!
The Big Show having a bit of a, probably for the first time since being in the WWF, looking quite dominant as a babyface here.
Yeah.
Is it 12 months later, Boss Man takes Big Show's dad for a ride?
I know it's soon.
Is it in 99 or is it in 2000? I feel like it's about a year later.
You got me wondering now.
I think that's in 2000. Do you think of him as the Big Boss Man, or do you think of him as Big Bubba first?
Boss
Big
Man?
Bubba Rogers, yeah. I see him as Boss Man first, always.
Oh, that's interesting.
What?
I think it might actually be 1999.
Oh, really? It's funny how quick things move in 99. So right now we've got the Ministry of Darkness, the corporate ministry rather. We've got the Big Show as a babyface in the Union. If Big Show and Bossman are going to feud soon, that'll be after the Bossman comes out of the corporate ministry, and that sort of dissolves. Then we'll do the whole Bossman Big Show thing. And then by the end of the year, the Big Show's actually teaming back with the Undertaker as a heel tag team.
Yeah. As we just said, it is literally it is 1999.
I thought it was later than that, but fair dues. As Big Show now's on the comeback against Bossman, sends him off against the ropes. Big boot. Bossman hits the ropes again, comes back for that big choke slam.
Oh,
breaks it up just before he gets him up. And here comes Mickles. Here comes Mankind.
It's all breaking loose. It's all going chaotic.
Mankind selling like he's been in the ring for 20 minutes. First time he's been in. But he slams the Big Show. Big Show to Big, a big headbutt to Big Boss Man. Big Show, Big Boss Man, big headbutt. Too many bigs.
And it's a big, big, big world.
Big Viscera.
It's later on known as Big Daddy V.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What?
Too many bigs.
Too many bigs. We've lost one referee, but we got the tag team specialist player.
Holla, holla.
You gotta love it, haven't you?
Who's the leader of the ministry? The Undertaker.
Gotta love it. Just out of curiosity, have you just said that Big Show and Viscera has just gone walkies?
Yeah.
You know, I find even more funny about that.
Go on.
That they've absolutely lost control of this match. And do you know how you know? Wasn't Big Show the legal man?
Well, I mean, does it matter at this point? They've had 2 referees since then.
Which is hilarious. I think he was. I think Big Show was actually the legal man.
I don't think it matters, mate. Big Boss Man's done the majority of the work in this match in any case.
He's carried the team.
Oh, yeah, 1000%.
Showcasing why he's the major guy against Mickles. Who's fighting back?
Mrs. Foley's baby boy.
Oh. Oh, kick out.
One of the more interesting attires, this version of Mankind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shirt, tracksuit bottoms, trainers. Big right hands from Mankind.
Oh, definitely.
I struggle to call him Mankind now. I always think of him as Mick Foley first.
Well, he is Mick Foley. It still counts. Oh, there we go.
DDT. Time for Mr. Socko.
Part of the union.
There comes Mr. Socko.
Ooh. You know what I find so funny about this? Is technically, isn't that a weapon?
I mean, technically, maybe, yeah. Referee calls for the bell and the Union wins. And what we're going to do, Matt Burns, is we're going to stop the feed on exactly 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think that's about right. Good, solid.
And then we'll come back at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. tonight, in literally 12 minutes, 10 minutes by the time we get there, and we'll watch the rest. Quick 10-minute refresh break, and we'll be back.
Yeah, I think that's respectable. You know, finishing on the final 2 matches.
Absolutely.
What a match to
favorite Owen Hart story.
Favorite Owen Hart story?
My favorite Owen Hart rib story.
Go on.
No, when we come back.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Good way of building a feud. But anyway, as we are leading up to it, we are going to be wrapping up in the next 70 seconds.
40 seconds.
Shall we do a quick wrap up, or shall we just say be back soon?
Yeah, we'll just be back soon. While we're talking, though, we are on the hunt to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So what you can do is do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it. That'll help us out loads. It's all me and Matt Burns want for Christmas. So please help us out. Is to get as many subscribers as we can so we can keep doing videos like this and, enjoying ourselves watching wrestling. That's what we like to do. We're just two dudes who like to watch old school wrestling. And now we're going to press pause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause. Go to our YouTube page. Find us there for part 2. We'll be back at 10 o'clock. And if you're not watching live, you can probably go straight there by clicking the video suggested below. Thanks, guys. See you in 10.
See you at 10.
Welcome back to part 2 of our WWF WWE Over the Edge 1999 watch along and Owen Hart tribute episode. Thanks for coming back to us. If you haven't watched part 1, go onto our YouTube page, find part 1, watch that first. We're doing this watch along format, so we're providing alternate commentary a few bits of trivia, hints and tips for the Over the Edge pay-per-view 1999. We're currently 1 hour and 30 minutes through the Netflix cut, as this version has removed all Owen Hart parts from it. And I think, Matt Burns, if that's all right with you, we should just get cracking back into the stream.
Down for it.
Okay, so I'm going to count us down again. If you synced up with us at 1 hour 30, 3, 2, 1, play. And we got Triple H fighting with The Rock backstage, and Mankind coming in for the save.
Straight in.
Action. Oh, and there's China. I heard somewhere that coronavirus started with China.
Was it with China or in China?
It certainly, well, it was in China. It happened one night in China.
Bit batty.
Controversial. My favorite Triple H theme tune.
Is it controversial though?
I think it is. The game is sort of the
it's
standard. It's
a good
it does
song.
seem weird to see him here though, with hair and no beard.
Yeah.
And now we see him with no hair and a beard.
Have you heard some of the remix version of there?
Yeah.
Some of them are absolutely just ace.
I prefer the version with I must admit, I do prefer the version with lyrics.
Yes.
But there you go, it's just life, isn't it?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't this get used temporarily by Stephanie McMahon?
And China used it as well for a while. And used by a few, yeah. Anybody who was associated with the game.
All business.
Crying over your little injury.
While I do my 7-second heat.
So I promised you, Matt Burns, didn't I? Another Owen Hart story.
If I'm not mistaken, your favourite.
It is my favourite.
Why is it when you said that, I just all I heard in my head from Fifth Element, the quote, my favourite.
It's my favourite because it's stupid.
Go on.
Right? It's my favourite because it's stupid. It's such a stupid thing, but it just makes me laugh every time. So this is a story told by D'Lo Brown. And this is on a house show. Owen absolutely loved making kids laugh, right? And once before a match, he leaned over to D'Lo and said, "Watch this." He then got out of the ring, walked over to the barricade, got right in this kid's face, nose to nose, right? And said, "You better cheer for me, or I'm telling your teacher you didn't do your homework." The kid just burst out laughing like the funniest thing they'd ever heard, and then spent the entire match chanting for Owen Hart. And I just think like that's my favorite story because it's just so silly but so funny.
What a way to turn face by threatening the teacher.
It's just like so Owen Hart, brilliant.
You've got to love
Rock
that.
sends Triple H out here. Has The Rock got a broken arm here?
Yes.
Has he actually got a broken arm though? Oh, it does look like a real cast. Fair dues.
Because I think
if it's not a big break, 6 weeks to heal into it, so I can see him wrestling through a certain amount.
Well, it was hit with a sledgehammer.
All right, so it might not be real.
Yeah. While it was in the cast.
We think it's a gimmick injury then.
Yeah.
It does look less like a cast and more like a paper mache.
A mold. Mold.
Yeah, it looks like it's been cut as well, as if it's been like they taped it back together.
Almost like, it could come loose during the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is probably a kayfabe injury. Again, if you're listening along live with us now, we're at 1 hour, 35 minutes and 12 seconds. We've got about 50 minutes left of this watch along. Well, probably close to 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
And I suppose I just wanted to take a bit of time as Earl Hebner refs this one between The Rock and Triple H outside the ring. Rock wants to talk to the Spanish fans on the Spanish announce table headset. Hugo Savinovich getting sat on. The Rock kicking your monkey assy.
Could not get away with that today.
No. Well, I mean, you could probably get away with that. I don't think you'd be able to do much more than that.
No.
Oh, nice.
And there he goes. Almost like on cue, like we spoke about it.
I thought he was going to take the cast off for the people's elbow.
I think we would have popped for that.
Yeah, oh, I would have, definitely. And this is an interesting time for both of these. Obviously, they were, the main of they were one of the undercard matches for SummerSlam in '98 for the Intercontinental title in a ladder match. The Rock's now had a reign as the WWE champion, WWF champion, from Deadly Game Survivor Series over to WrestleMania and then turned babyface. Triple H has moved out of DX and into the corporation with China and the rest of the corporate ministry now. And he's sort of playing second fiddle to the Undertaker, but you can see that he's the heir apparent to be the big next heel in the company. And I think we were really lucky at this point in WWE that we had, two huge baby faces emerge in Austin and then The Rock. And yes, they both played heel at certain points, but they were meant to play baby faces.
Yeah.
You can see it from miles away. But we also had somebody that was such a good villain, like Triple H, and somebody coming through who could play a villain, or somebody who was born to play a villain like Triple H. And don't get me wrong, I know Triple H worked babyface at different times during his career as well, but you can't deny that he was a better heel than a babyface.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think about matches like this and feuds like this with The Rock, where they're both going through, but then in 12 months, less than 12 months, in 6 months, he's feuding with Mick Foley, having that amazing street fight and that quality Hell in a Cell. 12 months after that, he's wrestling Steve Austin in 3 stages of Hell at No Way Out.
Yeah.
Having an amazing match there. Wrestling The Undertaker at Mania 17.
Yes.
Obviously, we get the 2-man power trip, and then we get the injury that I would love to say was really bad for him, but actually is probably career defining and making for him, the return from the torn quad.
But at the same time,
back as a babyface. What?
At the same time, not only did it happen, it also showed his tough, how tough he was to be able to not only continue, but also get locked into the walls of Jericho with a torn quad.
Yeah, brilliant. That entire that match is fabulous. Actually, we'll have that on at some point on a watch because that match is brilliant.
Yeah,
that tag match on Raw. But yeah, just the career trajectory of Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker obviously has a bit of a hiatus towards the end of this year until next year and comes back as that badass character, but is still at the top of his game. And I just think about the main event level superstars that we had coming through all at the same time here. It was like wrestling's equivalent of the class of 92 and football. We just got so many good people coming through at once. And, all but The Rock, these are people that The Undertaker, that WCW had passed on.
Yeah.
Mental.
Either passed on or jobbed out to.
Mick Foley, terrorizing, Mean Mark Callis. They'd all been through there.
Terrorizing.
Yeah, terrorizing. Almost as bad as Matt Burns.
Doubt it. Maybe someone who's star quality could make a change, but
yeah, that's it, mate.
Anyway, seeing as we've already dropped the hammer, let's continue.
Whoa. Triple H now working on that broken arm. We should have had a cast on it, but I mean, The Rock's doing really well considering he's got a broken arm.
Oh, getting knees into it. That's a move you don't see often nowadays. A good old-fashioned Harley race knee drop.
Yeah.
You don't see that often, do you?
Not anymore at all, hardly. Sorry, mate. 2 seconds.
Anyway, hyperextending the arm right now. Triple H is bending some fingers, making sure to put the pressure. Rock trying to fire up. No, denied. The weird thing about it is a lot of people, for me, always says, who was Triple H's greatest opponent? Was it Austin? Was it The Rock? Which one was it? Who is it? And the weird thing about it is he was always associated with them both, but in some form of connection. Here's a question for you.
I think it's Shawn Michaels.
I was just about to.
When I think about Triple H's best rivalries, and there's loads: Randy Orton, Batista, John Cena to a point, The Rock, Stone Cold. You mentioned Mick Foley, The Undertaker.
Yeah,
but for me, it's Shawn Michaels. I think.
Me personally, Mick Foley.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mick Foley. But out of Austin and The Rock, who would you say was a good opponent?
I loved the hate between Triple H and Steve Austin.
Yeah,
it was something else that was ruined by Austin's heel turn and the 2-man power trip.
Yeah,
as well as the Vince McMahon rivalry, the Triple H rivalry was soured a little bit as well for me. But The Rock and Triple H had a great rivalry, and it continues to this day. So, what's real, what isn't real, what's story, what isn't story. But my God, the heat feels real.
It's amazing.
Doing a good job of working The Rock's arm here, though, and telling that story. I appreciate that they're telling the story about The Rock's arm,
but right in front of the crowd as well.
Doesn't look broken though, does it? Doesn't even look bruised.
It could be a metatarsal.
Metatarsals are burning your foot.
I was trying to be
true story.
I know it's a true story. I was trying to get some laughs.
I've broken many a metatarsal. Oh, rock bottom. Triple H reverse. Took too much time. Ooh. The Rock looking at the crowd. DDT. Well done, Triple H. The game. The cerebral assassin.
I wonder how Jake Roberts feels about
China. That. What's she doing?
I wonder how Jake Roberts feels about that. DDT becoming a transitional move.
Hey, listen. DDT is a cutoff. That's what it became. Oh, Earl's taking the chair. He doesn't have any of that.
Denied.
I've got a WWF logo printed on my shit.
You know, listen, this is the first official merchandise. I will sell it to you later. You can buy it only in my referee t-shirts.
Does he deck him or does he leave him? Decks him.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't get that reference what I've just been saying.
This is a different Triple H.
Did you not get the reference I was saying just?
Triple H now with the chair. Oh, but the Rock hits him in the gut with a kick. Right hand, second right hand, third right hand, puts Triple H down, picks that chair up. And the Rock don't miss with them chairs. Just ask Mick Foley.
Concussion City. Concussion City.
And now the Rock hits Earl Hebner as well.
Just the wrong arm. Oof. Oh. Sticking the boots in. Title of the game. WWE Warzone.
One of my favorite video games of all time.
The only fan he's getting.
And these two are still brawling. Triple H now with a crimson mask. China gets a kick to the gut from the Rock. Rock picks up that chair again. He's going to hit China and now the Rock.
Oof.
China takes a rough tumble to the outside.
And that was a rough tumble.
And now we're finally going to get the Rock bottom.
There we go. Boom.
Oh.
Where's the Catherine you needed?
People going for the bloody elbow pad.
There we go.
Chair shots here for the Rock from Triple H. And here comes Mickles.
Mickle, run the pipe.
And Triple H retreats, but what a war, those two.
Case in point.
So it's officially a win by the Rock by disqualification.
Yeah. And the Rock's just looking confused. Let's say, what are you doing here?
There was another one today, as well. I don't know if you've seen another one that's had their contract not renewed officially.
Go on.
Valhalla. also known as Sarah Logan.
That one I'm not surprised at.
No, I mean, I had a couple of kids. Maybe she didn't want to come back. We don't know the details, do we? But
Where to,
and now we're getting the build up to Austin and Undertaker.
I remember watching this for the first time, and I was like, "What is going on?"
And it's corporate ministry.
Yeah. Then he just dives in. Mine is blowing his quads.
John Cena did a nice thing this week, after Ron Killing's release or not renewal. On his Instagram, he just posted a picture of Ron Cena. And like normally, a lot of what he posts is quite cryptic, but there was no reading between the lines on this one. It was just a picture of Ron Killings, like as Ron Cena. Thought it was a really nice touch. Austin's got the Undertaker. Yeah, that's it. He hooked him up to his own sign, didn't he?
Yeah. The scary thing about it is they always done these vignette videos epically.
Oh, this is brilliant again. I love these videos and to see the build up between, and because it wasn't this exciting on TV at the time, but the hype video makes it seem like it was awesome. No wonder we were all like conditioned to think wrestling was great every week because the hype videos were top quality.
The hype is real.
Here comes Shane.
That's a rough time you got.
No chance in hell. It's always weird seeing Shane McMahon come out to Here Comes the Money.
Here comes the money.
Again, if you're still listening along with us, we are coming up to the main event now, and we're at 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 28, 29, 30 seconds. So just so you can sync up with us and watch the action unfold with mine and Matt Burns' expert and sometimes ramblous alternate commentary.
Ramble expert. Extraordinaire. And yes,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen, I do read the comments. I may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me.
Oh, here comes Pat Patterson.
To replace Vince McMahon.
Is that all he is here? 58. And I used to think he was such an old man. Do you know what I mean? It's mad when you look back, isn't it?
Got people around.
Here comes the Undertaker. I love this Ministry Undertaker music as well, you know.
Yeah. The weird thing about it is, it's a good song. I don't know why. Part of me feels as though it doesn't have that mystic, that the one that fills you with pure utter dread. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it just fits this version of the character so well, though.
No. It's a bit of a character, but whenever the iconic song is, dun,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The classic, where people, when they're in the ring and they're hearing it, they're just going, I'm getting that vibe, that feel.
Yeah. How do we feel about Evolution 2, Matt Burns? So Evolution's coming back, not the group, but the pay-per-view, the women's only pay-per-view.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Back the night after Saturday night's main event, the same day as one All In, Texas. How do we feel about Evolution 2 coming back?
I've got no issues with this. It gives a good payday for some additional females. The question is are they going to be able to fill that pay-per-view?
Well, I think we only tend to do 5 matches on a pay-per-view now, don't we? Under Triple H's booking. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to get 5 decent stories going, ready for it. I think it's exciting that we're doing it. And I hope they get some of the veterans back again.
Yeah.
Although I don't think we'll do the same. I don't know if you remember Evolution 1. Might be worth a watch along soon, actually. But Evolution 1, we ended with sort of a curtain call type moment at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll do that again. But I would like to see some. That was a celebration, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
WWE. And this should be too, but not the same. And I just think that it would be. Do you know what? It's a bit similar to the first One Night Stand. You couldn't do the ending to the first One Night Stand twice. And that's why I don't think we'll do the same finish to Evolution. But I would like to see some of the veterans. I would like to see a Trish Stratus, a Lita, a Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Nikki Bella's the be-all and end-all, but, just some of the elder, more experienced workers. Here comes Austin with that smoking skull belt. Oh, and there's no time for anything but brawling. Obviously, the last pay-per-view Backlash we watched, Matt Burns, that ended with Stephanie being abducted by the Undertaker in the back of the cab, and was followed up by that segment that we saw in the video, which was Austin making the save for her and for Vince. And then the week after, 2 weeks after, Shane reveals himself as the Undertaker's partner, if you like, in this whole scheme.
Yeah.
Cameo for Sergeant Slaughter there.
Hashtag Sergeant Slaughter.
Hashtag G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Austin hangs up the Undertaker on the top rope. Just forget how good a worker Austin was,
Yeah.
Peak fandom for me, this is. And it wasn't that long ago. Shane McMahon was a full-time ref for the WWF. So,
yeah.
What was it? Shane Stevens, was he?
Shane Stevens? I forgot about that.
Austin flipping the V's. Again, if you're watching WWF Over the Edge with us, we are enjoying the main event now. Austin versus Undertaker for the WWF title. Shane McMahon is the special guest referee as Undertaker comes up behind Austin and hits him with a right hand. If you are listening along with us, just to give you the clock, we're currently at 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 52, 53, 54 seconds, just so you can get synced up along with us. And that's now exactly 2 hours. Bang, 2 hours on the dot. So you can listen along with us. I think this is the most menacing looking Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like the version of the character that we get. The big symbol on the chest. I like the high butchers, the tights, the gloves, the brawling aspect, the Lucifer style beard. Yeah, certainly my favorite version of the Undertaker.
Yeah. Reverse. Coming out. Oh, no, denied. Ooh. Oh, interesting fact for you, Scott.
Go on.
Over the weekend, we actually found out that we actually have some listeners from some of the wrestlers of Aspire Wrestling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they actually asked me if I could say the. I felt like Bart Simpson, and in a certain episode, say the line.
Okay, well, we'll let this one get on a short then. What's the line?
DFTBA, and you know what that stands for?
Wowza. Do you want to give anyone a shout out in particular?
In all fairness, I'd just rather give a massive shout out to the actual Aspire, Aspire Wrestling themselves.
Find them on Facebook, Aspire Wrestling. Absolutely.
Definitely. Highly recommend them. Genuinely, it's a wonderful wrestling promotion, especially since it's a non-profit organization.
Yeah, brilliant.
Here we go.
Austin working on that left knee of the Undertaker.
Ooh.
Gets it wrapped up.
I've got to hit. I've got to hit. And he's out. And Austin just jumps straight back on.
Absolutely. The toughest SOB in the WWF, by God. Austin now on the outside. Undertaker's head leaning off the apron. Big elbow to the side of the Undertaker's face. Undertaker rolls out and he still takes a huge right hand from Austin.
Let's lay down. There we go. There's the second.
We forget. We've had the whole John Cena era. We had Brock Lesnar. We've got the Cody Rhodes era now. We had The Rock for a little bit. We forget how good Austin was in this time frame. 98, 99. He's 97, 98, 99. He's untouchable. He's just the best thing in wrestling. Even if he did run over that lady at WrestleMania.
I thought they were advertising a new WWE game. WWE off track.
Isn't it? Forget Simpson's hit and run. We've got Austin hit and run hitting the PlayStation this year.
Hit and run 316.
Just Nick Khan following you all the time, apologizing to people.
I'm sorry.
Throwing money at him.
Wow.
Shane trying to help the Undertaker to the ropes. I love that.
Ooh. Then I find it so funny. You got Undertaker going, bow. And then you got Shane McMahon going, bang, bang.
Yeah, they're all selling it, aren't they? Here comes Austin. Back on the outside again. Undertaker's leg this time over the apron. Oh, and Paul Bearer takes a right hand. Bit of overselling. Undertaker on the outside now picks up Austin, sends his back into the ring post. Very nice. And oh my God, no. Oh, knee to the outside. Oof. If you are watching along with us, again, 2 hours, 6 minutes, 41, 42, 43 seconds. Got the Undertaker now taking Austin into the crowd. It's main event time. Huge right hand from Undertaker reversed, and now Austin on the attack. Cut off by the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And we've still just got Shane McMahon as the referee here, and I'm not sure where it goes. I can't remember if we do get Vince coming back from the medical facility or whether that's it. I'm a little bit lost as to what happens next, but that's quite exciting because it's going to surprise me either way.
It's like when you don't remember, it's like watching it again.
Yeah, I remember the result, but I don't remember how, and that's just as exciting, I think, here.
Yeah, because you want to go, I can't remember how. I need to see how. See how it all works.
And again, the difference in fans in 1999 to today, not one of them is watching that through a video phone.
Yeah.
Everyone's just present in the moment.
And they're not on social media going, oh my God, I just seen Austin.
Choking out Austin with that cable. Slow count there from Shane.
Got a challenge authority.
You know what the problem is? They sent Pat Patterson out there to be the ref. They should have sent Gerald Briscoe, because then if the Undertaker had wanted to take out Gerald Briscoe, if Gerald had wanted him to be hooked, he'd have been hooked.
Why didn't they send both?
Gerald Briscoe, shooter, any?
Of course, I think Taker probably just goes, you ain't sending him. That'd be almost like sending for the man, wouldn't it? So, send for the Gerald.
Oh no. Oh, caught his leg between the ring post and the steps.
Shane, that's not fair. You didn't get him back in the ring. Never mind that, he just used steps.
12 minutes left, 13 minutes left of this pay-per-view now, Matt Burns. What have we learned from Over the Edge 1999? We've nearly watched the whole thing, other than the tragedy surrounding Owen Hart.
Yeah.
What have we learned from Over the Edge 99?
Well, we definitely know a union can beat a corporate ministry.
Yeah.
We know that The Rock can battle with a broken arm. We know that by their standards, that Billy Gunn is the star between him and Road Dogg, even though the actual proper end result was neither of them were.
Yeah. But it looked good for Billy Gunn at this point, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. We might have the end of the legendary feud of Al Snow and Hardcore Holly.
We might.
And Kane and X-Pac are a formidable tag team. And last but not least, Val Venus knows how to take advantage of a slight distraction of puppies to get the
Here's
win.
what I think. The match card was surprisingly strong. That's what I've learned from this.
Yeah.
Stone Cold and The Undertaker, money. Triple H and The Rock. Triple H a rising star at this point. The Rock established. Hardcore Holly versus Al Snow was brilliant. And it's a shame that the dark cloud sort of like sits over the show.
It's a war. That's when you know it's when it means business, when the commentary team can't even leave the desk for safety. Oh, good counter.
By the Undertaker. Nice, that was.
Good clean counter.
I think the best thing about this pay-per-view is the legacy it lasts in terms of safety and stunt safety. You know, things were tightened up a lot after this. And that's the real legacy of what happened here is that although it was a tragedy and it was a horrible thing,
we're
a lot better for it now. I also think that one of the brilliant things that, not brilliant, but one of the shoots of good that came out of this is how we deal with grief in wrestling. Tribute shows. This was, wasn't the first, I'm sure, but it was certainly the first TV tribute show for a wrestler. The next night on Raw, we had the Owen Hart tribute. And, even thinking more recently to somebody like Brody Lee, obviously had an impact on how we dealt with the Brody Lee passing. So I think, that legacy with that. But also, I think, Owen Hart's legacy is bigger than wrestling. And I know you know a lot more about the man than I do, but I think maybe you just want to speak to that, his legacy, outside of wrestling.
The thing is, outside of the wrestling, he was a big family man, big orientated. And the weird thing about it is many could sit there and say, he didn't have to stay in the WWE or WWF, and yet he did still stay due to the whole situation, even with the whole situation of what happened to Brett and everything. But at the same time, with Owen, I feel as though he had a massive passion for wrestling. The fact that he didn't just stay in America, he learned the British style, he learned the American style, he learned the Mexican style, he learned whatever style he could do as much as possible to try to come out as more of a standout, and it showed.
But outside of wrestling as well, you hear wrestlers talk about Owen, and sure, they mention how good he was in the ring, but more often they talk about how he made people laugh, how he looked after the rookies, how he'd sneak teammates extra pay from merch tables just because in a business full of egos, he was the guy you'd give, not take. So so many, I think that's why Owen he's not just remembered, he's sort of modeled after.
Yeah, because there's so many individuals who want to give to the business. Owen was an individual who did give a lot
Yeah,
to help.
and
Be it either a smile, especially a cheeky one,
yeah,
a prank, a joke. He always aimed to bring a smile to anybody.
and say what you want about Martha Hart, and not she never really got over it with WWE, and that's why I think Owen's never gone into the Hall of Fame. But she turned her pain into purpose, and the Owen Hart Foundation, she's helped people provide scholarships, housing, and aid to low-income families. And that means there's kids in Canada going to school, families staying in homes, and people rebuilding their lives, all because of a man we never met, we knew on telly, but whose name carries on. It's bigger than a match or a title run. I think that's real impact. And then thinking
Yeah,
back to wrestling now, for over 20 years, Owen wasn't really mentioned much by WWE out of respect for Martha's wishes. But in 2021, AEW was working with the Hart family, and nearly come the foundation there, the Hart family, introduced the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and that
yeah.
celebrated his spirit, his love of competition, and again his lasting imprint. And younger fans who've never seen him wrestle, are now asking who's Owen Hart, and they're finding answers. And for that reason, his legacy's alive and well, just on a different stage. So I'm not a huge AEW fan, but I'm a huge fan of the AEW Owen Hart Foundation, Owen Hart Cup tournament.
Invitation tournaments. Yeah, it's a nice little touch that is. And to be honest with you, Owen he was always a standout for me. Well, he's got to be a standout for me because I've borrowed from his gear. A bit of the style, a bit of the
Yeah,
look.
absolutely. And I always think back
Paintings.
to, do you know what? This is talked about on a podcast not so long ago, and I just think about, a year to the day that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
WCW are in the building doing their own pay-per-view. They did the triple cage, and they had a wrestler come off the top of the triple cage in this building a year to the day that this happened. And I just think, we can either be sensitive, and WWE didn't do another stunt like this in terms
Yeah,
of rappelling from the ceiling in a very long time.
yeah.
Um,
Whereas WCW sort of just took the gap,
well, they carried on with Sting, etc., didn't they? And I get that it wasn't their business, and they had different safety protocols in place, etc., etc. But I just think the sensitivity of the thing, yeah, I'm not going
yeah,
to say any more on it because whether it's right or wrong for WCW to have carried on, it's similar to the conversation about was it right or wrong for the show to carry on.
yeah,
You can't judge 1999 by 2025 standards, and equally great album there from the second rate for Austin, and equally you can't. Oh, Shane McMahon isn't counting the three for Austin, as if we didn't see that coming. Um, and equally, you know, that choice made in the moment for the fans in attendance. If they hadn't gone through with the show, we might have been saying that they were wrong to not go through with the show. So difficult to know what was the right thing to do. But I think now we just move on from talking about Owen because we're getting to the end of this pay per view. Austin hits Undertaker with the chair,
boom.
but Shane's down. Austin goes for the cover. Gerald Briscoe with a referee shirt on too. Undertaker
The
kicks out.
real shooter.
Here comes Jerry. I got there, Mr. McMahon.
Just got there.
Again, if you're watching along live with us, we're at the 2 hour, 18 minute, 45-second mark. Undertaker takes out Gerald Briscoe.
The match should damn be sure over.
Title's at stake, but there's no way Austin retains it. He's just got everything stacked against him. And Undertaker with a huge lariat leaving his feet.
You got the crowd chanting HBK because he's the commissioner. Here he comes, Mr. Hobbler.
Looks all right for somebody whose ankle's broken. Austin goes for the stunner, reversed, double down, double clothesline. Undertaker and Austin both down in the ring. Undertaker's up. Vince McMahon's up. Undertaker's down. Austin's down. Shane McMahon's down.
I got Vince referee without a referee shirt. Is that official?
6, 7. Undertaker counting. Oh, they both sat up and they're at it again. Big right hands from Austin and Undertaker. Undertaker to gain advantage now. Sends Austin off. Austin ducks a clothesline. Austin, stunner! Stunner on Undertaker. Vince counts 1, 2, and Shane stops him just getting up.
Here we go.
And that's the finish.
Oh my God.
Shane pushes Austin. Shane pushes Vince into Austin, who rolls over Undertaker, who rolls him up, and then Shane counts 1, 2, 3 quicker than you can say banana pancakes. And Undertaker is now the WWF champion, although he's still getting beaten down in the ring by Austin, and Shane's just taken the belt away. And shouts for the entire corporate ministry to come down and help. Stunner for Boss Man.
Bye.
Stunner for Midian.
Bye.
Picks up a steel chair as the acolytes come in. They don't dare get in the ring. Undertaker's out and he's got his championship.
Oh.
And the ministry, the corporate ministry, are now in possession of the WWF championship.
And looking strong. As we're about to come to an end in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that was Over the Edge 1999. All the horrible bits. How many sausages would you give that pay-per-view, Matt Burns? Is it difficult to do with all the, I know we talked about Owen Hart during the episode at length, but is it worth giving this a rating? Let's give it a rating based on the bits we've seen, which is the non-Owen Hart related bits.
It's tough.
It is tough. It had some good stuff on it though. So if we try and think about it objectively, we had Triple H.
Trying to do it
objectively. Was very good. The hardcore match was very good. And Billy Gunn and Road Dogg was okay. The main event was okay, but it was a very Vince Russo main event.
Yeah. A bit schmozzy.
Yeah.
Especially with the end.
Yeah. So what do we think?
I'm going to go.
Do you know what? I don't even know if Vince Russo was still booking at this point.
I don't think he was.
But it was very 1999 in terms of the finish, everybody.
It's hard to explain because part of me wants to go 4 for the action in wrestling, but I'm going to go with 3.
Yeah, I think 3's fair. I don't think it didn't blow me away. Some of the stuff on it was pretty good. You could tell everyone was a little bit distracted after the incident. So
no. What I'm saying to you is, it could have been a 4 if there wasn't the incident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But I think overall it was good. Moved the story along for Austin and the Undertaker. I mean, at this point, it's not their fault that the higher power turned out to be an absolute fail. And the next night,
of course,
a fantastic Owen Hart tribute. So I think that's the most important thing, and the legacy of Owen.
Yeah, but as you said, the whole storyline did end up becoming a bit schmozzy and everything. But if you want to hear how it can be done better, you could always check out a certain rebook this by a certain Scott.
Yeah, I did rebook the higher power, didn't I? So you can find that in the archives or on the website. I think it's certainly it's on the website in blog form at theburningtruthuk.com. And just before we go, Matt Burns, I want to tell one more story about Owen Hart, if that's okay.
Before we go, I want you to explain me three bangers. Reason why. The reason why it was good solid action, as we said. The problem was we had constant reminder of the incident with a certain stain. And it does stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Well, you just kind of killed the mood before me last. I was trying to tell a happy story at the end, and you just brought us right back down.
I'm so sorry.
So the story is, Owen once went to the ring after his gear had been stolen. This is a story Jim Ross has told before. All he had were oversized trainers and mismatched tights that he found in lost property. So he went out and wrestled in them, because what else is he going to do? And after the match, JR asked him what the hell happened. And Owen just said, he just had one line. He said, JR, I figured I had two options. I wrestle like this, or I wrestle naked. And he made his choice.
He chose wisely.
He chose wisely. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Burning Truth. You can find us everywhere on the socials. Just search The Burning Truth and look for the championship belt just there and just behind my colleague Matt Burns. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you've watched this on the podcast or listened to this on the podcast, please have a search for us on YouTube. Follow us on there. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, share the video. We'll love you for doing all the good stuff. Leave us a comment. What did you think? And do you think it was the right decision or the wrong decision for them to have carried on this pay-per-view after the incident? And what's your favorite memory of Owen Hart? We didn't talk once about Owen Hart's danger gear, Matt Burns, and we both love the yellow and black danger gear. In fact, one Matt Burns' wrestling attire right now is inspired by that. So we absolutely love the Owen Hart danger gear. WWF Attitude 1999, which was it was actually delayed release and then released with a tribute to Owen Hart on it. If you didn't know that, Matt Burns, and the mannerisms were changed, or sorry, the crowd reaction was changed, so Owen Hart could never be booed on the game, which I thought was really clever as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. If I'm not mistaken, though, the next time we are on the watch along for 1999, do you know what event it is next?
King of the Ring.
King of the Ring
with the ladder match for control of the WWF Stone Cold versus Shane and Vince.
Oof.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And we never did find out who raised that briefcase. But for us tonight, that's it. Thanks very much for joining us. I've told you about the socials. I've told you to like and subscribe the video. And I think that's all I need to tell him.
That's all you need to tell him. But more importantly, one thing I need to tell you all you need to do is DFTBA, which, if of course you don't know what that means, that of course means don't forget to be.
Owen Hart had a alter ego, and he was called Mr. Rib. And do you know what the best thing he ever did as Mr. Rib?
Go on.